Hey guys, it's Shanda with the Bold Exploration Podcast. I'm so excited you're here this week. Guys, welcome back to another week of the Bold Exploration Podcast. I'm your host, Shanda Smith, and I'm excited to be here with you today. So today, I want to talk about the difference between the thought process behind booking like a repeat vacation and a completely new adventure that you may or may not have that much experience with. So both types of travel have their merit, and we book both in our family. You know, you might find us on a few repeat vacations every year, and you might find us on a few new adventures every year. So I think there's pros and cons for both types of vacations. But really what I want to focus on today is how you and your family may think about the planning process to decide which one is really the right decision for your family. So maybe it is the year to take that beach vacation again, or maybe it is the year to take that Disney vacation again that you wanted to take, or go to the mountains, or you get my point. Sometimes it's just a good year to take a repeat vacation. But what if your soul is like super hungry to go on a new challenge or a new adventure, or to see your children's eyes light up for the first time as they experience something new and just amazing for them? So maybe this year is the year to add in that new adventure. Now, spoiler alert, my hope is that you do both every year. My hope is that there is some new and there's some old every year in your travel planning. But without getting too far ahead of myself, let's just dive into the pros and cons of each type of vacation. So we're going to start with talking about repeat vacations. Now, this can be a repeat anywhere. It doesn't have to be just one location or one type of vacation. It can be anything that you're repeating over and over. I know for my family in particular, we tend to repeat Hilton Head, South Carolina. It's lovely beaches. And it's just a great way for us to kind of like take a break. We're doing the same thing, but we're spending a lot of time together as a family. So we have a repeat destination that we love every year. So when I say repeat vacation, I'm just talking about something that has been established for your family, someplace that y'all have gone regularly in the past, and you look forward to going in the future. Okay, so here's some of the pros with a repeat vacation. So we have seasons to our life, right? Especially when these kids are young and we're traveling as a family. Knowing that there's a grocery store that you really like where you're going, knowing that you have the amenities that you need in a certain location really does help with the stress part of planning a vacation, because when you get there, you're going to have the amenities that you really need to make it the trip that you want to make it. So maybe you have a favorite resort. Maybe it's a repeat vacation around a certain activity. Maybe it's even a group of friends that get together every year and have the same vacation together. All of those can be a great repeat situation where you know that you're going to get the benefit of having the same travel planning, or at least the same outline for your travels year after year after year as your family gets older. Okay. Another really great pro about doing a repeat vacation is that you have really sped along your vacation planning already. You know so many of the details automatically. You're not having to work through and think about where we're going to get our food, where are we going to sleep, what gear do we need to bring with us. You've already kind of got those things outlined in your brain. It just speeds your planning process along. So this is probably the number one reason why people actually book a repeat vacation. This pro is, and the thing is it's easy to get busy and stressed people excited about a repeat vacation. Okay, so if you're working hard every day and you don't have much time to devote to planning and thinking through things, and you're just like, I need a break, I want to get away, I want to spend time with my family, I want to go do something fun, but you just don't have the emotional energy or maybe even the time to devote to kind of thinking about a newness that you could add to your vacation planning, repeat vacations, they're really easy to get people excited about. So I know busy families tend to book the same vacation often just because it gives them something to look forward to, and it just takes all the hard stuff about planning out of the equation, and then they can just move forward with their vacation planning. Okay, so those are three really big pros to having a repeat vacation. Like I said, it's something that we do every year, and I hope that you do as well. But let's talk about the cons of having a repeat vacation. Okay. Number one, there really is no such thing as a repeat vacation. And I know that's kind of an oxymoron for me to say, but the thing is that you're older now than you were the last time you took that vacation. Your kids are older. You might be in a different situation with work on what your stress level is. And also, no one can control the weather. So you can't have with much certainty exactly what's going to be going on when you have that repeat vacation, right? You can just kind of get an overall feel to your vacation by going to a repeat destination. You can't relive those memories in real life. You can only relive those memories of that wonderful vacation in your head. So another con to having a repeat vacation is losing the opportunity to discover a new favorite destination. I mean, you're going to be putting money and time towards this vacation that you're taking, whether it's a Disney trip or it's a cruise or it's a beach stay, or you're going up in the mountains, or you're going to a big city, whatever you're repeating, whatever resources you're using for that trip, you can't use them for a different trip. So you're giving up that opportunity for having something a little bit new. Okay. So here's another one. So sometimes it feels better to relive those vacations that we're repeating in our mind than it actually is when we go and take that. So say you were super stressed and you were that busy, stressed family when you booked this vacation. Like, we need to get away. We don't have the energy right now to think about it. So you book that repeat vacation, but you're not the same person when you take the vacation as when you booked it. So maybe some time opens up. Maybe you're ready for a little more adventure and challenge. There can be a discrepancy between when you book the vacation and when you take it. You may not feel the same way about the destination on each side. And it's mostly, like I said, very busy, very stressed families who don't have a lot of extra time on their hands that feel that way. Of course, that's a risk either direction. So if you book a new challenge and you plan it, but then you end up to being in a stressful season in your life when you take it, it can be overwhelming. You're like, man, we should have just gone there again. That would have been a lot easier on me at this time in my life. So it can go either way there. So that's a con for both new and repeat destinations. Okay. Now, this is the reason, this last con is the reason why I say limit your repeat vacations. Because if you're going somewhere again, most likely you're coming there again because you had a great time there last time. Okay. So when you go this time, you're going to expect the experience to be on the same level as your prior experience or better. Okay. That's the way our brains work. We think it's going to be at the same or better. But the reality of it is that it takes a lot more to make it better or keep it on the same level, because we're losing that new factor. You know, the third or fourth time you do an activity, it's not as cool as it was. Or maybe your kids really liked that putt-putt a couple of years ago, and then you go back to it this time and everybody's just miserable. So it takes a heightened experience at this repeat location to get the same benefit as the first time or the second time. You know, each time you go, you got to up the game a little bit if you're going on a repeat vacation. It takes a lot more to make that repeat vacation special. You have to add some like new components to it to keep to keep the fire there, so to speak. The flip side of that is it takes a lot less to ruin a vacation because you have all these perceived expectations. We go to Hilton Head, and one of the reasons we go there is because we know we can get restaurants in the area that can deal with the food allergies that we have in our home. So for us, we go to Hilton Head with the expectation that we will be able to feed our family without worrying about a hospital trip. But if we were to go and some of the distributors changed up what they did and we could no longer have the same food experience, that low stress food experience that we need to have a really good family vacation, then Hilton Head would not be a great choice for us, because it would make it a whole different experience than what it is that we experience right now. So it takes a lot, just even the smallest changes at a destination could really affect how things go for your family. So it takes a little bit more effort to have that great experience, but it doesn't take very much at all to kind of ruin a destination for you, or to be very underplanned for a repeat vacation because you're hoping that it's always the same as last time. And that's just not the case in the travel industry. So those are some pros and cons of having a repeat vacation. Now let's look at some pros and cons of having a new adventure. And these guys, we're just talking about planning and getting your mind wrapped around this year when you're thinking about where we should go, because that's one of the common questions I get. Where should we go? And there's a lot that goes into me answering that question when I'm booking travel for clients, because we need to know what components are really important to your family and what components just really don't matter to your family in order to know where to recommend for you. So when we're talking about the pros for new adventures, one of the pros is that it'll really light you up and to get to experience something new. And, there's so many things in this life that we do by rote memorization, and it's the same day after day. We take the same commute to work every morning. We go to school the same way. Our classes are in the same order during the day, or we have meetings a certain days of the week. Our lives typically are pretty scheduled out, and there's not a whole lot of newness. So one of the pros to getting on a new adventure in a new location is that it really gets you out of the ordinary, and you're able to just experience things through a new lens. And there's not very many ways to do that anymore, unless you take up a new hobby or go to a new destination. So new adventures are great for just kind of getting you rejuiced back up and feeling like yourself again. Okay. Another great pro to go into a new adventure, a new location, a new destination is that your expectations are much lower typically. So you just don't know what to expect. So every little bit of newness, every new view, every new restaurant, the new cultures that you meet and the new activities you do, those really do, it's your first time to experience it, and it's a lot of fun. So even if you're doing a new adventure based around a particular activity, so let's say that you're going scuba diving somewhere and you normally go to the Caribbean and then you want to go to a new area to do your scuba diving. So you're still doing the same activity, but it's your first time to see the reef. It's your first time to see those new fish. It's your first time to embrace a new culture that maybe approach scuba diving in a different way. Going on to a new destination or a new adventure can just take something you're used to doing in your everyday life and just give it that little zhuzh in the right direction. Okay. Another pro with going on a new adventure or a new destination is the extended planning period that you're going to add to. So the amount of time where you're building on that adventure and thinking about it extends the fun of that vacation. So to me, the lowest stress way to plan a vacation is to do it bit by bit over time. And it kind of just stretches it out, and it gives you that little bitty nugget to kind of look forward to and hold on to as you move forward. So extending out that planning period really helps you just to enjoy that vacation longer and to kind of help you categorize those memories that you're about to have. You're just going to remember more, honestly, the more planning you're able to do over time instead of one big exhausting brain dump. And my favorite pro about going on a new adventure or to a new location is inevitably you're going to learn something new about yourself. Your children are going to learn something new about them. You and your spouse are going to get to know something about each other. So it really becomes this point of relevance. You're just going to be more of who you are, and you're going to get to know yourself better. And isn't that awesome in itself, guys? Isn't that why we travel anyway? Okay, so some of the cons. So this is the same con that I had mentioned about repeat vacations, that the person who booked this new adventure may not be the same person taking this adventure. You may be in a completely different place in your life than when you booked it. You want to know yourself and know what your margin for error is on that when you book these new adventures. One of the hardest parts of new adventures, this is another con, is that you can have some unexpected expenses that could really derail your vacation. So this is where maybe working with a travel planner is going to be your best bet, because they're going to kind of know a little bit more about what pitfalls may come your way, what's included, what's not included for particular destinations. And everybody, as they travel more and more and more, they become a more seasoned traveler. And as you become a more seasoned traveler, there are fewer unexpected expenses because you kind of know how everything rolls around. But it can take years. It can take years, especially with a young family, to know how to get to a point where you can foresee the future a little bit and to be able to make those right decisions for your family. Okay. And then the hardest pill to swallow with a new adventure is that it just may not live up to your expectations. Okay. You may have found this destination through an influencer online, or you might have been sold on some advertising that you saw. And then after you're at the experience, you may realize that maybe wasn't as big of a component of where you were going as you thought it was. Or maybe it just doesn't feel right, or it doesn't fit you because it was just too glammed up on the internet for you to really see what it's going to be like. And I would say, to kind of help deal with that, is to always look at TripAdvisor, always look for honest reviews online, and really weigh the pros and cons, and look at people who travel like you and see what their expectation was and how they felt about it. Just to keep you from being really let down. Because again, we don't want to go on a new adventure when you would have rather just taken that repeat vacation, because sometimes that is your better option. So to wrap this up, I want to give you my recommendations. I want to tell you how I feel is a smart way to go about thinking about repeat and new vacations. Number one, you have to know your situation, and you have to know how you travel best. Okay. You need to know yourself and your family's needs on the road. And if you don't know, this is where working with a travel advisor is really going to help you kind of sort through some of that thinking without all that planning just going right on you. You need to know what your non-negotiables are when you're going on travel. There are 3 things that you need specifically, everybody. 3 things that specifically are needed when you're travel planning and you're on a vacation. Number 1, you need the basics, food and water. Number 2, you need the right gear so you can get your vacation completed. And number 3, you need the right sleep and rest accommodations for your trip. And if you don't know these things of what your family needs as a minimum, then it's really hard for you to get the certainty you need when planning travel. Okay. So let me give you some examples of this. Food and water specifically. All right. If you've got a 3-year-old, that 3-year-old is going to eat more often than, say, mom and dad, right? So you have to think through those food choices, water that you need to take with you so that you're prepared for that. If you've got teenagers that normally eat 6 times a day, they're not going to stop eating 6 times a day just because you're not at home. So you need to be thinking ahead on what everybody's food needs are before you take this vacation. So food's actually a pretty easy one because as parents, we're kind of instinctively always making sure those needs are met. The next category, the gear, is the trickiest. All right. So if I was going to go on a Disney vacation today, I would focus on getting the right kinds of fabrics for my kids to wear so that they didn't overheat or that they didn't dry, that they got soggy because it rains a lot in Florida. And I would make sure that they have the right shoes because I know we're going to walk 7 to 10 miles and they're going to need new shoes most likely for us to go on a Disney vacation. If we're going to go hiking, I need to make sure that they have protective clothes so that they're not getting scratched up by the thorns and the thistles as we go through the mountains. If we're going snorkeling, I need to make sure I bring the properly sized snorkel gear for everybody and our snorkel vests so we can comfortably snorkel together as a family. So getting the right gear and not waiting till the last minute to collect it is a huge help. And then for the rest and sleep, you need to know how much rest time and the sleeping accommodations that are going to work for your family. So depending on how great or small your minimum needs are, how big that basket of things you've got to bring with you are, that's going to determine how much new and how much repeat you need to add into your vacations. So there is an aspect of repeat planning for every vacation because of those 3 needs: food, water, gear, and sleep, rest. So for every vacation, there's always going to be a repeat dynamic to it, and there's always going to be a newness dynamic to it. When we think about the needs we need to meet for your family, that's a lot of repeat stuff. And when we think about new adventures and new challenges, that's when we either want to add a component to a repeat style destination vacation or just go somewhere completely new and really enjoy that challenge with your family. So have a great week. And again, if you need me for any help in planning a travel vacation, reach out to me through my email. Head to our website, check out what we have offered there. And I look forward to seeing you guys again next week.